And then he arose. He was not hearing his lips. He was not hearing the sound. He was reading his heart. Remember what God told Solomon when he asked Solomon, what do you want me to do for you? Right? And he said, give me a wise and understanding heart. Check God's response. He said, because this was in your heart. God didn't hear the sound. It wasn't that day that the guy made a request. He said, because this was in your heart. You see, it takes the word you use, intimacy, to hear the unspoken. When you real fathers, the communication pattern is love motivated, is heart communication, words are too distant. When we're growing up, just facial expression says it all. They just look at you. It's a whole book. But today we don't know that. Look at it. Elijah passed by through his mantle. Not a word. And the guy responded and said, go back again. He said, the man is always discouraging me. I told you, I am not an encourager. I don't encourage people. No. I don't know how to do it. I provoke people. Right? You see, the truth is, nobody can encourage you. And from David. David encouraged himself in the Lord. If you need me to encourage you, I have to keep, and I won't do any other thing. Use encouragement. In fact, if you are looking for it, you are in the wrong room. You belong to the wrong party. You never see that with Jesus. People walk to those who remain and say, do you also want to go? Jesus made it difficult to stay. Changing to remain, easy to go. He says, it's not my fault. I don't know how to do it. The guy was going on a journey. He wants to go with the guy. He said, Colin, stay here. You know, stay here. And for those who grew up in my generation, you know, when your parents are leaving home, they say, when I'm gone, break the TV, right? You know, destroy the door. You know, turn the house upside down. What they say. If you tell these ones, they will do exactly. You see, that's how fathers talk. That's how they talk. He said, stay here. Meanwhile, you see, he wanted him to follow him. Conviction. Because the road is going to be tough. You see, this is it. Whatever you want to do in life must never be what you have to do or what you want to do. If I encourage you, I can only bring you to the point where you will have to do it. If you encourage yourself, it will be because you want to do it. You see, I want to serve God. So whatever people do won't make me change it because it's my decision. I can choose not to serve him. I won't die. I'll make money faster. I'll be free. As a story of a group of donkeys. These donkeys were in the field. Why? They were just playing. I saw this donkey with bits in the mouth, right? By the prince. I said, I see you. See you. You know, we are free, man. We are free. The guy said, have you ever seen, can you get decorated like this? He said, I like my prison. Right? A king is riding me. You are just there. All the flies and everything. You have ticks on your body. I live in the palace. I prefer my bits in the palace. Many people want to be free. They just want to be their own. That's why I tell you, when they talk about business, I can't work for anyone and say you are just failure going. Meanwhile, someone to work for you, right? I can't work for anyone. You're an idiot. It's an idiotic statement. Right? If you have never worked for someone, if somebody comes to work for you, you will enslave them. The proof that you want to own your business, pass Joseph until you walk on other people's dreams. He said, stay here. The Lord has sent me. Can you imagine that statement? He's sending me to Bethel. You stay here. Ha. What is going right? How can you tell me to stay here? But someone will say, this man carries a go back. You know. Onuso said, we asked one sister, where have you been? I've gone back to my dad. They won't worry me to marry a Christian. I bet. Those kind of people. You know, Dr. Onuso used to tell us those kind of stories. Say that girl, God, I've been praying. If you don't believe, don't blame me. Don't blame me. It's love. Words, plain language. That's why when you look at this scripture in the original translation, when Jesus said, I said to you, the Son can do nothing of his name, but what he says the Father do. It's because the way it was written cannot be interpreted, it cannot be translated. Because it basically means the Son can do nothing of himself except what he sees the Father think. So those who wrote it in English, imagine you seeing thoughts. Can make you see thoughts. Like that person says, intimacy is into me, see. Into me, see. Whatever he thinks, that's. So Son developed the ability. The Father will only put, you see, God won't make you take any kind of decision. He will only throw options on display. But know that in your heart you know his preference. Right? He brought all the animals to Adam. Adam will have chosen the zebra to marry. The same way he put all the animals on display to name them was the same way he brought Eve. The naming ceremony continued with Eve. Right? And out of what there was no helper found. Right? Because he could see the heart of God. Because helper, comparable, adaptable, complementary to that design. The zebra is not. The lion, right? There's some beautiful animals, right? That can, is that right? The bear can walk on two, right? So they can actually walk together. Truth we need to come to terms with. When you become a Christian, God does not of him. Christians are not free. Christians, you can't do what you like. You do what he likes. Ten-year period to become a serving son. From 1 Kings 19:19 to 2 Kings 15. When they said, truly, Gaskia, the spirit of Elijah, read. They bowed down before him. That was a 10-year period. So it was a 4-point process, that journey, from Gilgal to Jordan. Right? So Gilgal is the takeoff point. And it came to pass when the Lord was about to take up Elijah to heaven by a whirlwind, Elijah went with Elisha from Gilgal. Right? Gilgal means a place of rolling. It basically means a wheel. Right? A wheel. A place of rolling away. The place where God invites. And when he invites, you come with your baggage. And then he himself removes the reproaches from you. And he offers you true freedom. The word freedom there is liberty to exercise dominion. It's free domain, right? Freedom, liberty to exercise dominion. And you see, if you have not learned how to be dominated by God, you can't exercise dominion. You can only dominate the world to the degree that God has dominated you. Right? You will understand the miracle of Peter when you read the Psalms. He who dwelt in the secret place of the Most High, right, shall do what? Shall abide under the shadow of the, right? It wasn't Peter's shadow that healed. It was who Peter was reflecting. Are you with me? Yeah. Everything that ties down, everything that seems to disqualify from walking with him, right? God does not call the qualified. He calls you the way you are. He is the one who will qualify you. Right? And that qualification process will take a putting off and a putting on. We just want him to put something on us. For him to put anything on you, there must be what? A putting off. Gilgal is the first in the series of humbling experiences. The pattern of walking with God is say, humble yourself under the mighty hand of God. And then, in due time, he will exalt you. That is what it means to be a recipient of grace. Have I shared that with you here that when you talk about sin with a believer, don't talk about grace. Don't touch grace. Right? When you err as a believer, what you need is not grace, it's mercy. Right? It's mercy. Right? Grace is actually what is missing. That's why you missed it. You received the grace in vain. That's why you missed it. Are you with me? Because a lot of people see this grace is something that, you see grace as a right. There are no rights. Right? There are no rights. God, anything. I don't care how biblical your prayer request is. He doesn't owe you. God writes in pencil. If you say it is written, he will erase it. Go and ask Eli. Right? He said, I'm the one who told you your son will serve me. It's okay, now I change my mind. There's no Supreme Court. You can't appeal. Who? You can only appeal to yourself. Because you are the only one you are the only one in your life that outranks God. You can fire him. Yeah. And honestly, he won't do anything. He will leave you. He will still allow you to use his oxygen. You will walk on his floor. Yeah. Nothing. God is not intimidated by your rebellion. At all. Because for one rebellion, there are millions. Meeting. So Gilgal is that place where all that might take God's place and what might stand in his way are taken away. Gilgal is removal of all your assumptions. What are assumptions? Certainties that are without proof. Right? What you build your life on, that's not verifiable. Presumptions, the idea you have taken to be true that you use as basis to form your other ideas. God will Right? He will remove all that. Biblically speaking, Gilgal is a place where we repeat classes, where the gaps in lives are bridged. Right? If we look at it in the Bible, in Gilgal, in the journey of Israel, at that time, Lord said to Joshua, make flint knives, circumcise the sons of Israel. This is the operative word. They were circumcised before. To do away with the law. Right? I've come to fulfill. So when they finished circumcising all the people, that they stayed in their place in the camp until they were healed. Then the Lord said, today I have rolled away the reproach of Egypt from you. Therefore, they called the place what? Gilgal. So that was where the journey of Elisha started from. Right? The journey to becoming a son that we serve, you must go through. And you know that there was blood here. There was blood here. There was pain here. Right? Even at 90-something, when Abraham was going to walk with God, the guy had to be circumcised. Assumptions and presumptions. Gilgal represents also that place where you feel you have made some progress in your walk with God. And then you switch to maintenance mode. You don't have any kind of challenge again. You say, I'm sorry for this region. I'm so sorry. What we pride ourselves in this region is what's going to kill us. Christianity ministry, mission. It's what's going to kill us. Receive to believing that the gospel is good works. Right? You see, if you give a bowl of rice to a hungry man who is Buddhist, he will give his life to Christ. If he's hungry enough, right? But you will need rice to keep him saved. Yeah. The day you stop the rice, you'll be like, tricked me to go to school. I've told you the story many times. I love rice and beans. Especially when the beans is soft. There was no pressure cooker. So you put potash. We call it. Yeah, you put it in. Mix it with rice. So the wife of our headmaster sells rice. Say, if you come tomorrow, I'll give you rice. So I went. By the time they rang the bell for recess, there was no rice. I went back to my mom. Went back to her in the market. I said, the school has closed. She said, no, it's still, they didn't bring rice. The deal now, the woman didn't perform. I performed now. I came. That's my own side of the deal. Yours is to bring rice. So as long as there's no rice, no school. If they use rice to lure me to school, rice must keep coming to sustain, that decision. But until I go. A lot of people are shouting from the shelf. This is a phrase I got from, pottery. When you go through, you take the, clay and you mold a pot, right? There's a time when they put it on the shelf to dry. It's already been sprayed, but it's not ready. So the pot is saying, buy me, buy me, buy me. No. You are shouting from the shelf. You're not ready. You're not ready. I was reflecting on where I was going to teach this weekend, and a story I heard about Mandela came to my mind. A few weeks before Mandela went to jail, these guys came to meet him. They said, we have made up our minds on what to do, right? We're going to blow up everywhere in South Africa. Bring this government to its knees. Mandela said, you know, I've done that before, right? I'm even being searched for because of that. He said, this government won't last forever. Guys, there will be a time when we need leaders. I beg you, go back to school. Right? Go and educate yourselves. Right? Thabo was part of them. President, right? Yeah. Ramaphosa was part of them, right? That's it. The young ones here need to be told, go and get yourself trained. That school is not just going to get a certificate. Go and acquire a skill. Because the government, the way things are in Nigeria, you see, where I went to is a church of returnees. These are young people from wealthy parents. They studied abroad. They came back home because they believed in Nigeria. 90% of them. They came back home because they believed in the Nigerian project. That's why they came back. Nigerians, many of them born abroad, right? You see, it's happening. It's happening. I was blown away when I heard that story. They got plum jobs. Good job because they were so qualified. Went to good universities abroad. They came back home. That's why we gave the name of their church something very orthodox, Holy Hill. Right? It's not one, right? To calm them down, to be, these guys when they talk about Nigeria, this is not what I hear around. It's going to work here. Say, we'll work it. You know their favorite story? When I tell them of the 70s and 80s, man, these guys will just go berserk. That we must find that again. If it's happened before, it can happen again. I mean, why? Because plenty of young people in Nigeria are excusing failure because of the structure. You don't know the opportunities that exist in the defective structure. Many of you, with your mentality, can't stay if God answered the prayer of Nigeria today. If the government becomes responsible, you go to jail. Really pray for Nigeria, how you build yourself. But Middle Belt, a lot of people shouting from the shelf. Poverty here, in the midst of the resources available, it's amazing. Majority doing nothing. Absolutely nothing. Self-deception. Not honing any skill. Not pursuing anything. They are not under any kind of tutelage. No authority in their. When the doors are true, you will still be a beggar. You won't live by faith. You believe by hint. You know, I've told you the story of those who live by hint. We have two people in our church in those days, those who live by faith and those who live by hint. You know, when you see somebody who is rich in the church, you go around the person and say, I'm believing God for my rent. Actually, I know he will do it. That's the person you are believing. Elijah and Elisha. This guy thought he had it all. Right? If you know this kind of business in today's language, many people, they apply with just one. Massive Greek outfit. 12. Elisha thought he has arrived, but God said there's more. It's the beginning. More to go. A servant must always be willing to embark on the journey of growth. People celebrate too soon. I hate it when people promote their problems. Problems are good. Especially the one that is birthed by obedience. Right? I don't have something in my life. I'll never get to a point where, they were asking me a question during my birthday. Somebody said, I've gotten to the Pina one. I've not even started. Right? If I have Bill Gates' money, by tomorrow I'll be broke. Right? Have I told you what I'll do before? If I have Bill Gates' money, I will enthrone president in all African nations. Do you think the money is enough? It's not enough. I'm more. I'll put a godly president in every African nation. So that in 1 year, Americans will need visa to come here. Because we don't need to import anything for us to be great. It's there. I told him in Zambia, if all we have in Africa as a continent is the copper, we will be wealthy. If all we have is the copper in Zambia, we'll be wealthy. Never excuse yourself. Things are like, if Nigeria is my life, no. If you see poor people in America, and you know who they respect? Black people. They won't ask alms of a fellow white because it's black people that have very gracious heart. When they are begging for money, they'll go to a black man. If you want to go to Canada, somebody built it. Build your own. I want to like my father will. You know that kind of laziness Yoruba is lea fajo. The lazy man who is always wishing for rain so that I won't go out to go and work. His laziness is enough to download rain. We download it so there is a reason not to go. Remember the story of the lazy man in the book of Proverbs? Say there's a lion outside. It's not just a lion, no. It's a fierce lion. Excuse. God will come and test whether you will relax because of a small achievement. Yeah. Here comes the test. Elisha, you're doing good. Stay here. But the Lord has sent me to Bethel. There's more. So the first primary test of serving is the loyalty test. What are you loyal to? Yourself? A failure that is wrapped. Loyalty is measured in the willingness to adjust your time, plan your schedule to suit the one and the ones you've been called to serve. Loyalty is expressed in trust when it's no longer sensible to be trustworthy. The Bible says Abraham believed God. He believed in hope when it's not sensible to believe, right? He trusted when it's no longer, he was still hoping when his body was dead, right? Loyalty is seeing the intrinsic value. It's a privilege. When we started this, if you are moved from one ministry to another, you write a letter of appreciation. Thanking me for putting you there. It's a privilege to serve God. I'm telling you. Not a right. When I say, come do this and you give me an excuse, I'm busy. It's whoso will. That's why we ask the question here, when you are serving, do you feel used or you feel useful? Loyalty is unqualified and sustained faithfulness, knowing the character of the one and the ones we are called to serve. I've seen it here. It works a lot. People want to reward themselves. In the kingdom of God, we deserve nothing. Absolutely nothing. Can you pay God back? Remember the story of that guy that they gave the cylinder of oxygen? Say one is maybe 50,000. Right? And you will need like 5 before we can finish this whole process. Say, all the ones I've been breathing since I was born, free of charge. Now they pack it in one cylinder and they say, I'm going to pay this much. Yeah. Elisha could choose to stay. But loyalty won't allow because he knows Elijah's preference. He said, stay here. He knew that's not what he meant. He wanted him to follow him out of personal conviction, not because he said so. So having sons measured by the extent to which we can adjust our preferences and schedules to suit the one and the ones that we are called to serve. Stay here. He responds, as the Lord lives, I will not leave you. The guy understands the whole picture. Remember what Saul said when Samuel confronted him of what he said? He sinned. He said, I've sinned against the commandment of God, and I've also sinned against your wills. You see, there's a place of the word of a man. Right? And the place of the word of God, the two must come together. That's why we say in KCB, don't come here to come and serve God. We don't want anybody coming here to come and serve God. Maybe it's Amadioha, or what's the name of the God in your village? You don't know. This man knows his own. You have asked him before. Why are you looking around? He says, as the Lord lives, as your soul. I don't like it when people say, God told me, God told me, God told me, God told me. Oh, there's a very thin line there. God is always told you. Right? Always told you, always told you. Somebody created told. Right? Is it from heaven? I said told you, now you're laughing. Why? I'm wrong, right? By whose standard? Who said I'm wrong? Huh? Huh? Who is English? Okay, why? Because why have their own standard and told him is wrong in that context. Elisha recognized this is critical. Both the primary and the secondary caller. Many times we only know the primary. We don't recognize the secondary. See, I had to talk to myself to preach this. Because sometimes we shrink back. I hope you are not promoting yourself. No, it's scripture. It's scripture. There's a primary caller, there's a secondary caller. Do you have people that you can't tell God told me once they've spoken? Gilgal prepares and qualifies for Bethel. We're going to deal with these two tonight, and then we'll continue when next we meet. Again, the same thing. Stay here. The Lord sent me to Bethel. Like as the Lord lives, as your soul lives, I will leave you. Bethel means the house of God. Bethel means family or home where people go. Right? There is a greater challenge than Gilgal in Bethel. Gilgal, way, right? You begin to see that there is more. Where God puts you is a place where everybody has gone through together. It's a place and platform for divine and human use. In that place, there's possibility of human abuse. Did I say certainty? Possibility of human abuse. Most of the hurts we experience in life come from these two places. The family, right? it's a stranger that I don't feel it. My equal. We share fellowship together. It's painful. Who are at Bethel? Those are the guys there. They come out to Elijah and they said, do you know that the Lord will take away your master from over? And he said, yes, I know. Chill. It's a critical school. But they were all in the same school. And my question is, how did our master at my age, the child will grow, and then you now marry the child. By the time the child is grown, you are already in your 90s. Painted a gory picture. Just like Elisha said, where you go, right, I go. Your people, where you die, that's where I'm going to die. We don't find. They say, oh, don't trust any man. You can't trust God if that's your line. I can't trust any man. You just said what? I can't trust God. I will always trust people. Honestly, right? If I put angels. Honestly, I would prefer angels because those ones, they are, maybe they're more. I've never worked with angels before. I don't know. Maybe they're, but it's human. And I know it, I'm going to be hurt. And if I walk with you, I will hurt you. If you don't want to be hurt, don't live with it, right? I don't think the tongue can ever hurt it. It's only one way. But you have to ask, why is your tongue? Why are you getting it? Why you maintain your lane now? But the point I'm making, you will be hurt. Somebody said the purpose of the throat is to be slit. There's too much wine in church. There's too much care. You just do maintain a distance. We'll leave you there. But it's just a matter of time you go. You know what I enjoy most here is where people go. Not when they come. When they come, I have assignment. When they go, the burden is lighter. So Bethel, again, is not just a platform for grilling. Bethel is also the place where you can be loved the most. Tremendous pain is also the place where you can see tremendous succor. I tell you. Because sometimes when everybody's gone, it's your brethren that will be there for you. That's the truth. It's a place of communal affirmation. It's a place of identity established. God still sets solitary. Where? In families. He brings out those who are bound into prosperity. But rebellious. We read in the dialogue and these other scriptures say, two are better than one. Those planted in the house of the Lord will flourish in the courts of our God. Even their business will still be producing. Just like businesses. If you start a business and it's still existing, there's something behind it. And all these other scriptures there. Elisha passed the test of Bethel. For him was a place of faith. So the sons of the prophets who are at Bethel came to Elisha and said to him, Elijah came back, stay here. He encouraged him for once. Gilgal, you passed, that's okay. Right? Bethel, you passed, that's okay, you've done enough. So stay here. But if you are still moving, right, I'll keep moving. The Lord lives, as your Lord lives, I will not leave you. So they came to Jericho. So the next place is where we're going to be in Jericho, right? Jericho means a place of fragrance. What is it that Jericho reminds you of? Warfare. The border of the promised land. Right? That's where you understand not to fight in your own strength. That's where Joshua learned. God came like a warrior and he charged at him. Whose side are you on? Right? What was it that sustained Joshua? He had what Moses said God told him. Right? Remove your shoes for where you stand, right? It's holy ground. So we're going to look at, Jericho next. That will be next time we meet, right? I don't know. Am I going to be here next week? No, I'm not going to be here. Do you see when I've been telling you that we don't have all the time to learn all we need to learn? Right? That's a Macedonian call. Right? In places. Right? I'm looking for those to bequeath this thing to. I'm dying. Bad people don't die, right? I'm not dying. But I'm looking for those to be those who will serve this thing, those who will take this, amplify it, transmit it. We want our accountability groups to function. Right? We don't want to put babies there. Those who are committed to spiritual development. Those who want to embrace responsibility. Nobody looking for a role. Nobody looking for position. They won't stay here because they don't have. We have eternal ordination. Right? Everybody here is a title, right? Right? Which one do you want? Just pick it. Apostle, prophet, evangelist, stupid, idiot, pick whatever. As long as you serve, right? I'm sorry of that guy who went to Pastor Bakar. Everybody is pastor in my church. What should I call myself? He said, consider idiot. You know, think of idiot. That would be fitting, because this your question is a very idiotic question. So we look at Jericho next. That's the next stop. You know. Any questions before we go? When people hear a message about fathering, they're scared. They are afraid of what man will do to them. Can man do bad things to you? Plenty. Can man disappoint you? Oh. But honestly, where God is taking you, you need a man to get you there. That's the reality. I don't know where God is. I don't know the church that God passes. I'll go there too. Right? I've told you in the story of Noah, right? The safest place to be is in the boat of Noah. Right? In that place, when I look at there's no zoo. Right? Humans, animals, together. They were pooing there. They were doing everything. The noise of goat and pig. Pig was there. In that. I say, Kaya. Yeah, that's a whole place. But it was the safest place. It was the safest place to be. Every other place, all other ground. Sinking sand. Right? Only that smelly boat was safe. So you say, I don't want church. There is no Christian without church. You are the church. If the place is smelly, it might be from you. Right? So everybody, there's no, where God is taking you, is going to use a man. Right? And God is not a God of loners. He's a God of people. Right? I told you, before 1860 something, the phrase, I have a personal relationship with God, was not in the vocabulary of the church. It was never used. That I have a personal, it was never used. Because the moment you mention it, it must be plural. It's not something you own, it's something you are part of. Right? It's something you are part of. When it says Christ in you, the you was plural. We have, not I, we have the mind of Christ. You can't have the mind of Christ. Your head will explode. It will explode. You don't have a personal relationship with God. The personal relationship with God that you are privileged to have is made possible because you are part of it. If you say, me and my God, you just lied. You are a heretic. Me and my God. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. And you see, you need to be careful of the error of Judas. Don't feed on two different tables. Feed on two different tables. Right? I think he's the only person that committed suicide in the Bible. Who else? Herod didn't commit suicide. It was worms that killed him, right? Ahithophel, okay? Yeah, because that one was, it was counterfeiting God. Yeah. It's the same thing. He wanted to make market of Jesus. Because he knew Jesus, this guy is powerful. I've told you his drift. If I collect this, Jesus will deliver himself. Right? Yeah, that was his plan. I will just take the money. I trust that guy. We just walk through the crowd. Bam! Jesus was arrested. Bam! They killed him. What? He wanted to capitalize on the power of Jesus.
I feel that it will be left.
To be left.
So rather than giving it the
opportunity, to come to give him. Okay, Isaac.
Is this some? I don't think it really
wanted Elijah.
Somehow,
his circumstances made him to pack up his deals. Jesus Christ did the same thing when he met Zebedee and his son.
After speaking to
them, they followed. I think he said, "Follow me."
Now you've answered your question, right? He said, "Follow me," and they Stephanie, right? No. Stephanie should have a need for a mentor, and say, "I really need a mentor," right? And then we'll have a back and forth. I want to be mentored, and then we'll talk. Have you really seen anyone? I really know. And then in the line of that conversation, we might come to a point where you say, "Okay, consider this." But we can't have a roster and just apportion, just post people, because that's not. There must be a desire. Pastor, I heard your message about mentoring, and I'm constantly thinking about it. You know what? The moment you are thinking about it and you are looking around, there's someone that's coming up in your mind. That's the truth. That's the truth. You see, we've been on this journey for a very long time. I've noticed that people also, because they know, they can always have their way. The guy doesn't even have time for them anyway. There's no relationship. It's just they say we should have a mentor. But at least I have my own. So that we can shake it. This one. I'm not trying to please him. I'm not trying to please him. So all this professional that we are doing, me and him, we operate on another level, right? So by the time we finish, you'll be the outcast. When we show ourselves, right, you'll be the outcast. So that's the way, so I'm a mentee is not under pressure from the mentor. Yeah, it's not. It's not. So it's not. We can't, is it allocate? Right? Right? We can't do resource throw and just portion. No. That's not the way. It's relationship. Right? Relationship. But I tell you, if you're here, there's someone, right, that can actually, at the time we call some people mentor generals there because they're cool, they are very everybody rush to me. Nobody come to me. Right? Come to me. Right? So that's it, Isaac. I see your heart. We can't force mentors on people. We can only keep charging that you need a mentor. Yeah. We keep telling you why you need it. Why and the mentor is not looking for mentees. No. In fact, there are some, I'm going to come to you where, there are some who even say that you have enough. Because if you are a parent and you have 15 kids, you might not be able to take care of them. You just produce some miscreants, some malmangeries, or all kind of things. So, that's the way it works, right? When you talk to people, let them know they need a mentor. They must have someone that the words of that person carries weight in their lives. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think Elijah saw a potential in Elisha,
mm-hmm.
and he threw the mantle on him. But in this generation, it's hard for our mentors to even see the potential in us. Like, they are not, every one of them is just to even see if these people, to see what is in them, to make themselves available to even say, okay, follow me. So I think that's one of the problems we have.
Something that I said here, that sometimes we believe God is not around. That's a presumption that they are not there. There are still mentors out there who really cares. If even non-spiritual, non-church settings have mentors, if you work in some banks, you have to, choose a mentor, a professional mentor. And you say, let me tell you how it works. If you don't have a mentor, there is a level you will never get to in that bank. Somebody has to drop a word for you. Because you are not the best. Yes. You are not the best. So like Isaac said, I challenge the young ones here, desire it. Not really for the benefit. Right? Not really for the benefit. Because you see, mentors were mentees. And many of them are still being mentored. Yeah. I still get rebuked from my pastor. I've been pastoring for how long? I'm 57. I still get rebuked. So there is still a level where I'm being talked to like a child. And you don't know how much I treasure that. I love it. Yeah. I'm not a general overseer, I'm a specific overseer, But I still have a place. So don't say they are not there. If you say they are not there, I'm sorry to say you might be in the wrong place. When you look at the church generally, there is irresponsible leadership, right? If you look at Nigeria, there are irresponsible politicians. There are crooked businessmen. But that's not the whole story. That's not the whole story. In the midst of the rot, right? That's why it's by discernment. So if you just generalize that the leaders don't care, they are not there, the mentors, they don't even, sometimes, I've seen people come to me and they want me to mentor them, but they have exactly the way they want to be mentored. Yeah. They tell me, this is how I want to be mentored. I say, okay. In my family, we don't eat this kind of food. If you want to be in my family, you eat what we cook. Right? So that's what's happening, because these mentors too are saying, this kid, like he said, you have just said the opposite of what he said. That these kids don't value mentoring. You are saying these mentors don't care. So Elijah came so that the heart of the father, right, will be reunited with the heart of the sons. That's it. Okay, you want to, maybe I misunderstood you.
Okay. I think Elisha did not see the need for a mentor. I think he was just doing his own thing. And it was the mentor that beckoned on him that
Do you know how we know Elijah saw the need? When the mentor came, he jumped at it.
Yes, he jumped at it, but sometimes, how would I put it? Yes, he needed it. Like, he needed it. And he saw the opportunity. But sometimes I'm just realizing that sometimes there are some people that really need this message. But
There's nobody there. You are in the wrong place.
no one to recognize the potential.
No, that's too general. That's too general. You see, because the way you are putting it is as if this mentor-mentee relationship is an illusion. It's not possible. In many places, it doesn't exist. Even biologically. Yeah, even biologically. There are fathers raising their kids. There are fathers sacrificing themselves for their kids. Right? There are some people living a life mentees become someone. It exists. Right? If it's not happening in your zone, you might need to, port. Right? Because they're there. Because you are just talking about something that you perceive the atmosphere. They're there. Generally speaking, it might not be common. But not common doesn't mean non-existent. That's why I said that sometimes we feel God is not. And I told you of the guy with the music that played gospel music, right? Sang about God in a place where it's not commonplace to God. That's what I'm saying. So be careful what you use as standard. Because there are still mentors. There are still good fathers. Right? There are still good parents. Right? Who will deny themselves to ensure that their kids live a good life. Yep. And then I'll come to you. Ladies first, after the men.
Okay, it's just an observation based on the questions. Sometimes someone desires a mentor and a mentor shows up and the mentee begins wants to use me or she wants to use me, and there's this wall that is created, or young people are protecting personal space, which is for mentorship to really happen, there must be accountability and responsibility. So if feeling someone wants to use, if you are being mentored by someone, you have to do what they ask you to do. And that could mean it could be personal love, it could be send you for errands, it could be because the Bible says like poured water on the hands of Elijah. You must serve. So, but the way young people say it this day, it's like they want to use me, and when some questions are asked, they're personal. And mentoring cannot happen on that level. Just an observation.
Good. Yeah.
I'm your father, but there are many instructors. Because I've seen a scenario where people tell you can have more than one fathers. So I want to be cleared on this matter.
Okay, you were not here last week. Yeah. Now, first, the natural, right?
Yes, sir.
You can't have more than one father, biologically speaking.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people say that in the spiritual level, like growing in the spiritual level, that you have more than one people you listen to.
Okay. I answered that question last week, but I'm going to repeat it. What Paul says is you might have many instructors, but you have only one father. First natural. You have only one dad. You have a math teacher. You have a biology teacher. You have physics. You have, you have all those things. And I gave an example last week. think I use Idris as an example, right? You know, that it's Idris is a pharmacist, right? He might need a counsel that has to do with his profession, right? His mentor might be a, someone who doesn't know anything about pharmacy. He sought counsel from a senior pharmacist. Doesn't make the senior pharmacist his mentor. That's just an instructor. In fact, most of the time, it is the mentor that you tell, go and look for a senior colleague, right, and get his advice on this matter. That's the way it works. So you might have many instructors, right? You will have many instructors, but you have only one father. That's what Paul said. So you can have somebody who will counsel you professionally, somebody who, the mentor can even say, okay, on this particular issue, right, I think you need, maybe something has to do with your marriage, right? You might, okay, I'm going to give, this person's phone number. Talk to him. Because the person might be an expert in that area, right? You see, for instance, I can't, there are areas where I can't even pastor my kids any longer. Maybe while they were here and they were dancing with white socks, that was okay. I still show them the pictures and we laugh about it. Those when junior church dance with white socks. But where they are right now, we're not in the same city. We're not. So, I'm not even their pastor. Right? I'm not even their pastor. So, there's a level where they relate with me. I can't be their mentor. They must, I have to advise them, you need to get a mentor. Yeah. So it's not, it's something that, first of all, we need to value. When you value it, God creates the space for you and that person, just like Elijah and Elisha. Because God knew him before Elijah knew him. It was God that told Elijah, right, about Elisha. It might not be written somewhere, but Elisha might be expecting, he might have received from God that somebody is coming. Because the way he responded to Elijah, it wasn't a surprise. There's something has been on his mind. Maybe he's been this thing. The moment came, the way he responded, the spontaneity, right? It didn't come as a surprise. So he might not have heard that Elijah is coming, but he might have just had something general. There's a new season coming. There's a new assignment I have for you, And he might have, so it's like that. You see, let's see God there. The reason the church is so powerless today is because, remember the article I shared once here, written by one guy called Scott Hogan, the honor and energy. Honor and energy. There is the same thing. Honor is what the fathers, value. Energy is is what the young generation of today. There must be both. One is focus is always on that which is proven. The energy generation is that which is promised or which is possible. The two must come together. There's a guy who said once, I don't know, okay, it was when Chohu was here. He actually spoke to Chohu that he should bring an appointment that he wants to have. Lagos. What? Because the guy is very aggressive, very, very passionate about whatever he's doing. I said, you just go full throttle, right? I will come in when I think you need to apply brakes. If I have not said brake, just keep going. Right? And we're always in touch. We are always in touch. It's not in this church, right? But that's someone, is seeing me somewhere, he's had me, and we've gotten it's not even here. It's not even here. But I don't see myself as his mentor. I'm just an instructor. Right? I'm not his mentor. Because mentoring requires some level of proximity. Some level of proximity. It can be distant. It can be distant. And we're still these things. It's still, the mentoring is not convenient. So also is being mentored. Because for mentoring, you really have to make yourself available. It's not that easy. And then the mentee doesn't understand that the man is not always available for me, or this woman is not available. And remember what I said at the beginning. It is not the responsibility of KCC to educate your children. It is yours. You only delegate it to us. That's why you pay us. So, you do create the time, do sex education at home. And you know what happened? I said, in fact, there's a book that I have, about how to gradually introduce a young child to the matter of sex. You know what the parents said? Pastor, don't send it, I won't read it. Just train us. That's it. Say, just come and train, or maybe do seminar. I said, you are going to, if you don't read it, and I have a particular testimony about her daughter. Yeah. For those who are there, maybe now you know the person I'm talking about. One day the daughter came here, she was uttering obscenities. And I looked back, and the look she saw on my face was, and you are a product of KCC? She melted. She was gushing out obscenities. Because they think that's civilization, right? That's the mother said, I won't read it. Just come and train us. And I told them, I've pastored 2 doctors. 2 of them married as virgins. They didn't even have to have sex. They didn't know. Yeah. 2 of them. They know the science of it. So I told myself, is it now bad to be good boys and girls? Because they didn't have mentors. What kind of marriage counseling did they go through? That they never, church don't talk about sex. Yeah. But I've told you here, sex is the most obvious thing in life. Everybody here now, you are reporting your parents that they had sex. Yeah. It's the most obvious thing in life. Christians shake, they shift in their seat. The moment you mention sex, they begin to, because there's so much sin. They might not be committing sin, but they are so sin conscious. Sex reminds you of sin, not pleasure. That has to change. I was telling my 10-year-old yesterday, I said, that when you see 2 adults kissing on TV, don't look away. Right? But I said, when you see 2 adults, this is only good for married people. Don't close your eyes. Look at it. I said, what? And I told him, how did you come to know about the devil? It's from the Bible. Right? You learn evil from the Bible. Yes. Are you not going to close your eyes every time you see devil in the Bible? The people need education, right? Nothing wrong with hugging, with kissing, but explain it. In that book, you see the chapter 1 is the story of me. Because some parents can't even answer the question, how did I enter your womb? If their kids ask. In that book, you train them parts of the body. When they train parts of the body in the school, they avoid some areas. Touch your nose. Touch your ear. There are many areas they don't ask them to touch. Right? But the environment has to be right. And whatever you keep away from people, you just wire up curiosity. That's it. Can you see why we should stop being Christians and be godly? We have to be spiritual. Because this church thing is not cutting it. It's not helping. Right? It's not helping. What's the theology of alcohol? What's the theology of sex? Right? What's the theology of money? Because some people believe the only way to get money is by self-help. Yeah? That's it. You know, time is fast spent, guys. Let's meet again, right? Right? Let's continue this, because the major reason we're having all these kind of problems is because the heart of the fathers is not being united to the heart of the sons. So there's mistrust on both sides. Isaac believed they don't want mentoring. She believed there are no mentors. Graphic illustration here tonight. Thank you, guys. Have a good night. Get up.